Well, here's a little find I picked up for free. A lady was giving this away. She had it in a basement. It wasn't a wet basement, it was a very nice basement, but she said this table belonged to her mother and father. And it's a mid-century table from the late 50s, I'd say. It's got a tiny bit of water damage there just from moisture. This is bamboo. And this is also bamboo that's been bent around the edge. And the top has been very worn out. You can see the lack of varnish on it. It's got some stains that won't wash out. It's got a cigarette burn. Of course, it has to have a cigarette burn if it's mid-century. And what I'm going to do is just refinish the top. And I've been putting tape on the edge where it's curved. You use small pieces of tape to go around the curved edge. And of course on the straight edge you can use longer pieces. But what I'm going to be doing is I got out a citrus strip, I got out some saran wrap and a brush, and I'm just going to be finishing taping the edges, and then I'm going to be refinishing the top. I might use this in the Tiki room, or I might even use it up in the regular house in a corner because it's a really nice table. And I'm going to see if I can also figure out a way to get the stains out. Oh, here comes Bunny Joe again. Thank you, Bunny Joe. She's a photo bomber, I guess, huh? What you doing, Bunny Joe? I thought maybe hydrogen peroxide might be able to get the little bit of staining out at the bottom. But it's a really neat table. A shame for it to go to the dump. So let's see what we can do with the top of it. I also used the day to finish up the sign here. Now I just have to cut the ends off here and attach it in the back. This was just from an old packing crate. The wood is a little different on each piece, but that's alright. And over in this corner of the basement, I have one of the panels all laid out, and it's ready to glue. I'm going to be using liquid nails on here, little bits of liquid nails to put it on to the board. I got a very thin piece of plywood on the back. And then this is going to get attached with screws to a framework at the bottom of the two display bookcases for the sides of the back bar. And here's one more project I'm working on today. This is a fisherman's float, and I got it at Goodwill. If you saw the other video with some of the Goodwill finds, for 99 cents. I couldn't pass it up for 99 cents. It's real wood. I tried to sand it to make it look old, but it's not looking good. It just looks like somebody's been sanding it. So what I'm going to do to make it look old is strip the paint off. As long as I've got the stripper out, I might as well strip this too. And then I'm going to just start from scratch, tape it off, and I'm going to put a real light, watery, maybe a red and white and I want to make it look like it's just been faded out from being in the seawater for a long time. And then I'm going to use this on top by the rafters in the tiki bar area. Okay, I ran out of saran wrap, so I improvised. Here's a couple of old just fruit grocery bags. The trick is just to keep the wood from, keep it moist on the wood. The stripper needs to stay moist. Meanwhile, back over here, here's the thin plywood that I'm using. And I just stained the edges of the plywood so that they're going to look dark. And I have the other piece underneath that one over there. Okay, using a caulking gun. Okay, I hope this is going to hold because some of these have this kind of foam backing on them. But what I'm going to do is simply, using the liquid nails in the caulk gun here, I'm going to put a little blob in about 6 places here. Now, I'm just going to move this because I just shifted it, leaning against it. The trick to the liquid nails, from what I've been told, let me get this off here. I'm getting liquid nails all over the place. Okay. The trick to the liquid nails is, and I've already done 2 sides here, this side and the bottom, just keeping it in L shape, and then I'm going to work my way across. But the trick to the liquid nails is when you put the piece in, you have to have room to kind of jiggle it like this. By jiggling it, you're really pressing it into the wood. Okay? And I was told you don't need to put a weight on top of it to hold it down, that it will hold. So I'm just going to keep going here. Here's the next little piece. And you got to make sure that it's lined up really well with the edges. Like I said, I leaned against it and the whole thing shifted. So here's the next piece here. Let's put a couple of blobs on that. But, okay, I'm shifting this back and forth and sliding it into place. And then making sure I didn't mess anything up by pressing against it or pushing another piece out of place that's already has the liquid nail. So I tell you what, I'm just going to keep going on this and get this whole thing done. I'm hoping it'll hold. I thought I'd test it out, but I think it's going to hold. Okay, let's put this next one in. Like I said, make sure you're putting them in some kind of order, however you're doing it, so you have some wiggle room. Okay, wiggle that into place. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this whole panel. Okay, I've moved to the floor for this next one. And I'm going to start out by doing the side and the bottom, like I said, in an L shape. And then I'm going to work my way across, and in this manner, you know, if you do the whole edge around, you're not going to have wiggle room for the last pieces. So in this way, with these 2 pieces glued down and going across and up, the last ones in will be the top and the other side. And like I said, you don't need to use a lot of this. I've never used it before, but the handyman around the house said that you don't need too much of it. And remember, you gotta wiggle it a little bit. I hope this one holds. This one has a varnish on it. Those of you who've watched this series of the Tiki room from junk. You know that this is all scrap wood, junk wood, pieces, little pieces and bits that either we had laying around or we got a hold of for free. Okay, so we got some squeezing out there. And that's pretty evenly lined up. Okay. Well, there it is, and now I'm just gonna let these things dry. So I got 4 things going today. These 2 are drying with the liquid nails, and the tabletop is being stripped, and so is that buoy. So I think that's it for today. Gotta get to work on some animal chores, and I'll take a look tomorrow and see what we've got here. Okay, see you next time. Thanks for watching.